This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 115, The Injury, 1 year later. Welcome to Running a Fever, a show about getting to good health, living a longer life, and enjoying it the whole time. I'm Michael Davis. I love my life so much that I want to make it last as long as possible. And if you feel the same way, or you want to feel the same way, then come on along and we'll get there together. It's a beautiful day at Lake Fayetteville. We started at Memorial Park today, Veterans Memorial Park. We're going to have a memorial today to my knee injury of a little over a year ago, 2 days a year ago. And I wanted to get a kind of different perspective because every day, these days, when I come out here, it's getting dark really quick. So if I want to see where I'm going, I have to start in different areas so I get the light early. I may hit the dam about sunset, but I probably won't. It'll probably already be down and dark by the time I get there. But I also wanted to start out on the non-noisy part so I could get started on the podcast right away. Got to work a little bit early today. So I was here started about 3:45. So I may have a little more light today than I normally do. Medical department. This is a mental health exercise for me anymore. I've got the new strategy. I've got strength training going on every morning, trying to put in cardio during the evenings. It's all I really need physically. Mentally, I need to get out here in nature and take this in. This last weekend, already seen the beauty that I saw. If you haven't, then check out last episode on YouTube. Queen Wilhelmina State Park is just incredibly gorgeous. Mountain views. Just a short drive from, it was kind of a drive, but it was a day trip from where I am. And I really enjoyed that this last weekend for mental health. And in times of stress, it's a good thing to do. You know, you kind of have to have a hierarchy of activities to evaluate. This is what I do. When I know that I'm feeling some stress, I'm not quite myself, I have to be careful how I'm treating people, things that I'm doing, like watching more videos and eating more stuff and things like that. Indications that I'm probably need some therapy. This has become my therapy. Getting out in nature, moving around, and conversing. Howdy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Walking may not be it for you. There may be some other activity. Bowling, I don't know. It doesn't even have to be physical or in nature. That just happens to be, I don't know, you get out in places like that state park and where it's silence and just hear water trickling. And I mean, the air is different. I feel like God is a little closer to me. It's kind of hard to deny when you're in the midst of such beauty. But if sitting in a library doing a crossword puzzle is what recharges you, that's your therapy, then do it. Put that on the list. And if you don't know what it is, Start trying stuff. These are life tools. Life tools. Ways that we deal with the problems, the times when life is hard to love. And it is part of loving life. It's part of loving ourselves. There you go. A cure that doesn't come in any bottle. December 16th of 2017 is the date which I say that's the date that I count my knee injury from. This is wasn't a break, but it did keep me out for a while, and I learned a lot from it. It really affected my program, my workout, my physical program, and my whole attitude. And that was a big moment. Very early in the days of this podcast. In fact, a little over a month after I started the podcast, and I started exercising, walking on a regular basis. That's when it happened. At the time I was running, I was trying to run, and that also made a big difference. It's been over a year since I have run officially. I try to get pictures every time I come out here and share them with you because it's so beautiful. I mean, it's right here, just a few minutes drive from where I live in my subdivision. So yes, in the 25th episode, I believe, maybe the first mention of it, I think I might have definitely felt it at an earlier workout, but in episode 25, and if you want to go back and get some more detail on this, listen to episodes 25 through 31. And if you don't see them in your podcast app, then you can go to runningafever.com or check out the YouTube channel, runningafever.com/YouTube. So the first mention of it, episode 25, I had felt a twinge, what I call the twinge, small discomfort in my left knee right after the run. And there's not much more about it then, but at the time, I was going out every day. I mean, every single day I was going out. So there's a quick succession of what happens here. Episode 26, I talked about a tragic flaw. And I was already kind of sensing a sort of imminent doom with the tragic flaw. And it was the same week last year. So, I was in the midst of holiday preparations, the same thing that I'm doing right now. And I felt the need at that time to continue exercising, even though I'd felt pain in my knee. And, I'd talked to some people and, try to get a feel for, because I mentioned very often that I do not want to get injured and be out for a long time. And I don't want to overdo it. But I also, think that might have been my tragic flaw, just wanting to continue to progress and get out there every day. Because at the time I was also very afraid of not succeeding. I was limping in episode 26. I even talked about running twice a day in that episode. And I still tried to run in that episode. At that time I would run for a while. I think I was up to about half a mile. So I would walk for half a mile, run for half a mile, walk for half a mile, something like that. But I said, what I don't want to do is aggravate it. And I didn't actually run. I had to stop almost immediately that day because I felt it. As soon as I put my leg down, I felt it. I think the run lasted about 8 steps, something like that. It was just almost immediate. And so I got a little more serious about it. And I did my next episode in the studio, and I don't think it was the next day. I think it was several days later. And I said that I wasn't running. I was treating the injury. I'll play a little clip from it. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with my knee. I just know there's a problem. Yeah, so you can tell by the tone of my voice that I know there's something going on, and it could be serious. So at that time, I was evaluating various advice from various people I know, and we're saying, you can, if you have no pain, you can run. If you have pain, you can feel it like when you're squeezing your knee or something, you got a problem. Someone had asked about recovery time. If I was running every day, when would I recover? So in episode 28, I was still kind of on my own, and I headed out for the trail. But I did it anyway. I was still thinking, well, I could get back out here, and I don't want to just sit around. Because I was early in the program, and I wasn't sure of myself, and I had tried to exercise many times, and I had dieted many times, and it never worked, and I was really determined to make it work this time. And so not working out was a big source of fear for me. I've been overdoing it in a number of ways. I'd worked on painting. I'd painted a room that day. Maybe not that big a deal normally, but when you got a bad knee, things you just shouldn't do. I was also worried about the show, as you can hear in this clip. Because what if I can't run? How am I going to do a podcast called Running a Fever if I can't run? So the plan at that time was to take 2 days off and then try again. I was positive enough to express gratitude for what I could do, because I know always there are plenty of people who are not fortunate enough to be able to do the things I do, just to be able to go out and walk. And I've talked about how these people adapt, and it's amazing, the human spirit. But I'm very fortunate. So I finally went to the doctor. I went to my primary care physician, and he recommended an x-ray, and so I could get a brace. I wound up getting a brace. My primary care physician said, he ordered an x-ray. Got an x-ray, and then the neurosurgeon, Dr. Tang, he's awesome. He is just awesome. Works at the VA, and really good doctor. Sometimes someone comes along and you just know this guy's exceptional in just the way he explains things, the level of care. Yeah, amazing. Personally called me to tell me that when I had come back in and done another x-ray later on, that was earlier this year, mid-year, I guess, I was concerned. So he ordered an MRI, and went in to see him, and he showed me the pictures, and I actually put one of the pictures up on the website for episode 29. That's the featured photo. Maybe YouTube will give you the best look at it. Found internal swelling internal to the bone. I kind of thing you can see on an MRI, the X-ray just doesn't show. He gave me great advice on how to manage an injury. Just maybe seems like common sense. But, do this, walk, don't do too much. If it starts to hurt, pull back and start over. And the good news that I got from Dr. Tang is that I'm not going to need surgery. There's no actual fracture, although he said there were several ways to read it that might indicate that there was some sort of thickening, which indicates a healing process. So it could have been a fracture. That's what happens when you do a fracture, but there's no evidence other than that of an actual fracture. So I knew that I might be able to run someday. Possibly I could do it now. I don't know. Haven't found a need to. And incidentally, that's when I announced my participation in the first mention of the Biggest Loser contest at work. The infamous Biggest Loser contest. Started almost a year ago. And look at episode 30 was my first time actually back on the trail after 6 weeks of being out. And then in 31, which I think is called Stubborn Return, just about being stubborn. I definitely am. Talked about the plan, how I was I'm going to go out and do a little walk, come back next week, and then maybe I'll go to 2 weeks, twice a week, and 3 times a week. And then I said I would stay at 3 times a week for the indefinite future. And actually, I don't think I went over 3 days a week. That's when I went to the new strategy and started walking once a week or once every 2 weeks. So I'm seeing some nice white-tailed deer around here, scurrying around. Not too concerned about a human walking around. And they're getting their, I'm sure they're getting their mental health taken care of as well. There's not much to eat around here, I would think. So, I'm not sure what else they're doing, but what should I take away from this experience, looking at it in retrospect? I did the right thing. I got medical care. That's something I've been talking about ever since, getting good medical care, depending on medical professionals to do what they're trained to do. And it worked out really well in that case. Maybe I should have gone earlier. I don't know. I think I exercised some pretty decent caution. Every day, you got to have some recovery time for whatever you're doing. Even now, when I'm doing bodybuilding, I exercise one group of muscles and then I don't use it for a whole week. And I go out the next day and do something different. So, just repeatedly doing that and not having any recovery time didn't make a lot of sense. And I'll give another I told you so shout out to my dad. He told me that in episode 6 for everybody to hear. Howdy. Just hit 9,000 steps for the day, my watch tells me. So what's happened since then? Well, I'm not immune from injury, that's for sure. I'm sure I've had a couple along the way. I know that I have seen doctors and, of course, went through physical therapy and all kinds of stuff. Haven't had an injury that bad that took me out. So my tragic flaw may still be there. Howdy. So I've seen quite a few people, not terribly busy, but anytime it's 50 degrees in December, you're going to see people out taking advantage of it. My tragic flaw may still be there, but I have more knowledge now. I know myself and my body better. And I know about the nature of injuries and how to manage them. So it's easier for me to tell if something's serious or not. And more importantly, probably than anything else, is I now have a confidence and consistency in my workouts. So I'm no longer worried that if I miss a day, I'm never going to come back. Because I've done that a number of times. And I know it's part of the process. I'm not afraid I'll just throw it all away and slack off. If I miss one workout, even if I miss a week, it's just not that big a deal. I've been working out with weights. Sometimes I'll hurt my hand in some way, or will it be something weird? And I'll just say, well, let's take a day off and see how it goes. Maybe take 2 or 3 days off. It's no problem because in that routine, I'm going to want to gravitate back to it. And I've practiced that many times. So that's really important. If there's any question, then I feel comfortable taking a day off just to make sure I'm okay. And I'm certainly not worried anymore about the podcast being about running. Because now I'm at episode 115. I haven't run in over a year. And people are still downloading Running a Fever all over the world. All over the world, as I was going to say. I was rudely interrupted by a twin prop whatever flying over beautiful Lake Fayetteville Park. We've covered topics from motivation, inspiration. We now talk about diet, medicine, and fitness. All aspects of it. I'm working out in the gym. I've taken you along on hiking. I've interviewed other people who have lost a lot of weight. I've interviewed nutritionists, taken you to a shoe store. There's all kinds of, topical material for the show, and I don't think it's ever going to run out. Can't imagine myself ever ending this story and having something to talk about. How to live a long life, longevity, and loving that life. So it's not just about running, and I don't think we're going to be stopping Running a Fever for anything that might get in our way or try to get in our way. So, doing all right now. I'm kind of in the middle here. Haven't quite gotten to the old stomping grounds, and noisy airplanes and people keep coming my way. Oh well. If I'd wanted to avoid them, I could have just recorded this from the studio. Not what I wanted to do. Not the same feeling. It's always a pretty decent workout walking 5 miles. I mean, I'm not the fastest walker, never was the fastest runner or anything. But just covering that distance, even 80 pounds lighter than when I started, is still quite a workout. And I'm starting to feel something that's an old type of injury, which is, a little strange. I've got kind of the numbness in my right leg and foot. I'm not sure what's causing that. My dish has caused all manner of, well, not all manner, but a lot of problems in different areas, swallowing and maybe some other repercussions. When I saw the ophthalmologist last, they found a little spot of blood, like a ruptured small tiny capillary or something. I think it was in the back of my eye. I certainly am not seeing anything in my vision, but the ophthalmologist ordered an echocardiogram, and a ultrasound of my carotid artery, or my, I guess carotid, the veins in my neck and arteries and blood vessels. So I'm not sure what that's about. Sure hope to find out pretty soon when those results come in, and it just seems kind of unusual for an ophthalmologist to order something like that. They are medical doctors, so it's not like they just, make, prescribe glasses and stuff. I mean, they're MDs. So I'm strapping on my Cyclops light. Still plenty of light, but I don't want to forget and have somebody run into me. Got it on the lowest setting. And I'm probably going to put because I've got kind of a cold feeling in my right hand as well. So may have something to do with my dish as well, because that caused a problem with my right arm. And I have been on the traction machine, getting a little more religious about that, just trying to do that once or twice a day for 10 minutes, because I think long-term consistent treatment is the only way that this situation is going to get corrected, or at least prevented from getting worse. I actually missed my morning workout in the gym today because of a breakfast appointment, and so it's good to get some exercise in. I certainly didn't want to go to the gym in the afternoon, although it's probably not as bad as I make it out to be. Haven't done that in a while. Thank you for listening to this revisit of the famous knee injury and how things have changed, what we've learned since then. If you want more information on that, the details, and go back and listen to the history, the tragic flaw and everything, starting with episode 25 and going through episode 31. Thank you for listening to Running a Fever. And if you don't have the fever yet, go out and get it. If you got the fever, keep it, and I'll talk to you next time.